So you might have seen either the open well or the bore well. So you might have come across the word called as the water wells. So in the today's class, I would like to have a discussion about it. So when we are talking about wells, correct, we'll be classifying it into two groups. Right? One is called as tube well, and another one is called as the dug well. Okay, so that means if I would like to classify the well, right? So I need to consider two groups. Okay. So let me consider water well. So there are two groups in this. So one is called as the dug well, or you may call it as open well. Right? So in Belagaum, usually you might have come across open wells, right? So another one is called as bore well, or you may call it as tube well. Okay, so like that we can have drilled well. You might have seen some of the wells that are being drilled. Okay, so it means we can classify the water wells into two groups. So mainly we are going to have two groups of water wells. That is, one is called as dug well and another one is called as bore well, tube well, or drilled well. Now, when we talk about a dug well, right, that means actually we are going for excavation of the well. Before going for the classification, right, first let us try to understand what well is all about, right? Well is nothing but a hole, right? If I'm talking about a tube well, that means we are going for either excavation of one hole or a shaft, okay? So a well usually consists of a hole or a shaft, okay, that is usually vertical, okay, vertically excavated below the earth surface so that we are going to bring the groundwater or we are going to lift the groundwater, okay. So that means by making use of pumps, right, by installing pumps, we are going to lift the water. So that means there are two things we need to understand: well is different and a pump is different. So well is nothing but a hole or a shaft that is usually vertical and excavated in the earth for bringing the groundwater to the surface. Okay. So the another right application of this particular well is to see that we can go for subsurface exploration. Already one of the topic that I might have discussed in the previous class was with respect to groundwater exploration. So to explore the ground surface or the subsurface or for the groundwater, first we need to go for drilling of a hole or a shaft. That is one of the basic requirement. That means by excavating the well, even if you get the water also, that doesn't mean that you cannot explore other things. Okay, so water is one of the basic amenities that is required for the life, right? So that is correct, but we can also explore for some of the mineralogical contents, either minor mineral, major mineral. These things can also be now explored by excavating the wells. That means a well is a hole or a shaft excavated right vertically in the earth surface to bring the groundwater to the surface. Okay. So occasionally we are going to make use of this particular well for the purpose of subsurface exploration, or we can think of artificial recharge also by excavating the wells. One of the application that can have from excavating the well is that we can go for subsurface exploration as well as we can go for artificial recharge. Now, when we are talking about dug well or open well, there are two types. One is called as shallow well and another one is called as deep well. See, please understand, there is nothing to do with the depth of the well here. We are not calling shallow well and deep well based on the depth of the well. Okay, we are not comparing it with the depth of the well. If you check here, now in the first case, shallow well is having more depth than compared to deep well. Then why it is called as deep well? For that reason, I have taken these two diagrams here. In the shallow well, what I have done, the shaft length is more than the deep well. If you check the figure A, can you see that? Hello, is it visible? Is the picture visible? Is the sketch visible there from your end?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So when we are talking about open well, that means whatever I have explained you here is with respect to the open well here. In the open well or a dug well, sometimes it is called as dug well. Why we are calling it as dug well? Because usually we'll be going for excavation of the well by making use of hand, shovel, all these things. Okay, we'll not be using any heavy equipment machineries for this excavation of the open well or dug well. Okay, so usually labors will be sufficient to that labors will serve the purpose, and the shovels and some small scale equipments are required to excavate this particular dug well. Okay, now what will be the diameter in both the cases, whether it is with respect to shallow well or deep well? It varies between 1 meter to 10 meter diameter. The diameter of the well varies from 1 meter to 10 meters. Okay, so you might have seen some of the wells that are being excavated in the villages, or if you visit to Yallur, okay, in front of the bund, one larger open well has been excavated there, right? Now they are going to go for casing of that by making use of stone masonry or something like that. So that means what? They might have gone for 10-meter diameter well now. 10 means 10 multiplied by 3.28, that means almost, right, 32.8, nearly 33 feet diameter well they have gone for. That means that will serve the purpose for the water supply. Okay, so that means now I have shown two wells here, shallow well and deep well. These are the examples for the dug well or the open well. Okay, now what is the difference, main difference between shallow well and deep well? See, in the shallow well there won't be any supporting system, and the shallow well enters the primary aquifer. Okay, whereas in case of deep well, it rests on mota layer here. Can you see here? One mota layer that is being shown here. So this mota layer might be made up of some clay material, okay, which will act like a supporting system. And this deep well draws the water from the secondary aquifer that is present below the mota layer. Okay, so we need to understand this. That means uh, the pervious formation that is present below the mota layer, okay, can also lead the water to deep well. That's why we call it as deep well. It has nothing to do with the depth, please understand. So in case of shallow well there won't be any supporting system, whereas in case of deep well there will be supporting system. This is a major difference that we are going to have it between the shallow well and the deep well is concerned. And you can see here the water table, if you consider for this particular shallow well here in this particular case. Okay, okay, if for shallow well it will be less compared to the deep well, the water table will be little bit on the higher side for the deep well. See here, you can see the difference in the water level here. Okay, now that means in case of this particular deep well, we are going to have a mota layer here. Okay, so the purpose served by presence of mota layer is to support the deep well. Okay, So this particular motor layer is also called as Matabarwa or Nagasan layer sometimes, and it is made up of clay, okay, and sometimes it might also consist of some particles made up of sand as well. So that means this particular motor layer is going to give the structural support to the uh, deep well, okay. So this is what we can understand from the picture. This is what you need to write. So you need to draw the picture with the help of neat sketch, explain the dug well or open well. So first you need to explain what well is all about. Well is nothing but a hole or a shaft, usually vertical, excavated in the earth's surface for bringing the groundwater to the surface. Occasionally, wells are going to serve the purposes like artificial recharge or for the subsurface exploration. The diameter of these particular wells, open wells, will vary between 1 meter to 10 meter. Now, in case of houses, if I consider, what is the yield it can give? Usually, the shallow well or deep well, if you consider, so the discharge, okay, the yield, if I say, it will be less than 500 cubic meter per day. That means the in a day, okay, the yield that we are going to have will be less than 5 lakh liters, okay, or less. Usually it will be less than 5 lakh liters per day, okay, or else you can call it as 500 cubic meter per day. Now you can ask me 5 lakh liter I have told and 500 cubic meter I am telling. That means 1000, right? Liters means 1 cubic meter. So that means 500 multiplied by 1000 means 5 lakh liters per day. Okay. So usually the residential wells that you are going to have it. Okay. So those particular wells will have the yield less than 500 cubic meter per day. Please remember this. And the diameter usually will be less than 10 meters. Will not be going for a diameter greater than 10 meters or so. Okay, if we also go, we need to check for structural stability, what is the type of the aquifer and what is the quantity of the water we are going to have, and quality of the water, and for what purpose this larger diameter of well is required, whether it will act like a source of water to the village or a town. In that particular case, the decision will be taken. Okay. Overall, when we are talking about diameter, 10 meter, right? So what about the depth? So that means if I'm going to talk about open well, so what will be the maximum depth up to which we are going to go for? That means we can go up to, let us say, 30 meters, okay, usually, okay, 30 meters means almost multiplied by 3.28 if you are convincing labor, so it will come to nearly between 90 to 95 feet, okay. So usually the dug well or open well depth will be on maximum side will be 30 meters, usually will not go beyond 30 meters. Some rarest of rare cases, right? Some wells may be there, I don't know, but on an average, we will not be going for an open well greater than 30-meter depth. And diameter, how much I have told? This is with respect to depth, okay, is concerned. And I am going to talk about diameter. Diameter will be varying from 1 meter to 10 meter. Okay, that's what I have told you. Okay, this is connected with your open well or dug well. Okay, there are two types, okay, that we have discussed. So first one I called it as shallow well, and second one I have called it as deep well. Okay. So the shallow well and the deep well, they are nothing to do with the depth of the well. Okay, so please understand basic difference. So in case of shallow well, will not be having any supporting system like the deep well is going to have. That means the deep well will be resting on the mota layer made up of either clay or sand. Okay. So sometimes it might be made up of some aggregates or concur we call. Okay. So based on that, it is going to rest, and water level in the deep well will be little bit more than the shallow well. Okay. But will not be comparing it with the depth of the well is concerned. Okay, when we are talking about a shallow well, right? It penetrates what? It penetrates the pervious stratum only, and it draws the water through that particular layer itself. That means the shallow well is going to encounter the primary aquifer system. It means it is not going to go beyond mota layer. Okay, that is one of the important things. Again, if we are what to classify the open well, we can classify it based on whether lining is provided or not. So based on that, in a local Indian context, we call it as kacha well. So kacha well is a temporary well wherein we'll not be having any walls made up of brick or the reinforced concrete or the stone masonry. Okay. So okay, fine. I have a picture of that. No. Okay. So usually you might have seen some of the wells which will be excavated. Okay. And it will not be provided with side walls and other things. The problem with this kind of well is that you cannot go for some of the structural stability works, and because of this, no, these wells are going to collapse. Okay, whenever there will be monsoon season or whenever the soil becomes saturated, what will happen is they are going to collapse, and because of this it becomes a dangerous situation. Okay, so that's why we will not be going for the kacha well there. Okay, when we are talking about line type of wells, wherein we'll be providing a well with impervious lining. Okay, so if I'm talking about shallow well, that means there won't be any presence of mota layer here. That means usually you might have seen in a Belgaum we'll be encountering with the shallow wells. Okay, it is an example for open well. Please understand this. So when we are talking about deep well, that means this particular well is going to have the supporting system. Okay, that is a mota layer here, over which this particular walls will be constructed. Here also the walls will be constructed for the shallow well, but it will not be passing through the mota layer. So no supporting system will be there. So on the existing aquifer system, right, wherever we are going to have the required diameter, so there at the adjacent side throughout the perimeter and in a cylindrical structure or cylindrical shaped structure made up of either brick masonry or stone masonry or RCC will be now constructed. Fine. The water enters through the bottom in case of either the shallow well or the deep well is concerned, because we have provided the lining. That means there is no way that the water is going to enter to the well through the sides, because we have now gone for lining. That means it acts like a barrier here. The water will not be allowed to pass through this particular material, brick masonry or stone masonry, and because of this the water has to enter through the bottom. Please understand this. Now the question comes, which well is more prone to contamination? So usually shallow well will be more prone to contamination than compared to deep well. You can ask me why. Because see here, we have to go back to the previous picture here. Now this picture is very important. This sketch is very important. So if we are going to have a septic tank, or if some rainfall takes place, that water is carried. Okay, in that particular cases, what will happen is this percolation, right? Whatever the percolation is going to take place, everything will be joining the primary aquifer system, and which in turn will be yielded in the shallow well. And because of this, if some contamination has taken place adjacent to this particular shallow well, that means that shallow well might contain those particular contaminants in the water. So that means Shallow well may not be safe for drinking always. That means if in the nearby vicinity of the area some sewage is discharged, so you need to be very careful that this shallow well might contain those bacterial contamination. In that particular case, you are not allowed to drink the water by pumping it in the overhead tank and collecting it through the taps. No, you are not allowed to drink that water. You should see that you are going to have some kind of water purifier system installed in your house. Okay, that is a basic requirement. That may not be the case in case of deep well. So that means that doesn't mean that deep wells are not prone to contamination. All the wells are prone to contamination, but percentage will be less compared to the shallow wells. As I was talking about the classification of the open wells in the other way around based on the type of the lining provided. So if the lining is not provided, then we call it as kacha well, but you may call it as temporary well because there is no lining and it is going to collapse up to some time. Okay, because it won't be stable. In case of the wells with the lining system, open wells with lining system, whether it is provided for the shallow well or the deep well, so accordingly we are going to sketch it. So in this particular first case, I have showed you this particular picture of shallow well. Okay, it has entered the penetrated the primary aquifer system here, and there is no supporting system as such provided by the deep well, so which is going to have the clay liner or clay layer, or we call it as mortar layer. Okay. So usually, what is the thickness of the wall that will be used for this particular lining system? Okay. Have you seen the wells there? Anybody there? Open wells, have you seen? So in that particular case, you will have an idea that the thickness of these particular walls will be varying between 30 centimeter to 60 centimeter, depending on the requirement and the stability required. Okay, the thickness of these particular walls varies between 30 to 60 centimeter. Okay, there is no hard and fast rule for this. Okay, depending on the geological condition and which type of geological formation is there, depending on that, depending on structural stability, we can go for the minimum thickness of 30 centimeter and maximum of 60 centimeter. This is one more type of well where with this particular well we are going to provide the pervious lining. Here, can you see this? Some kind of borders and aggregates have been filled here before the wall is constructed. The reason for doing this one is that there will be a sandy layer formation that will be present adjacent to the well. So if I'm going to directly construct the wall, that means that wall may not be safe. And if the pressure of water is more in that particular case, it may not provide structural stability. To overcome this, we are going to see that we are going to have some layer of the sand provide, so some layer of the aggregates that is blast, and the gravel is provided to see that the pressure coming on the wall is going to be reduced. Okay, after that we are going to provide the wall either made up of brick masonry, stone masonry, or RCC. Okay, fine. This is all about the open well, that is dug well is concerned. So what all the things that we have discussed in from past 15 minutes or so. So the things that we have discussed is open wells can be classified into two groups. Okay, that is the shallow well and the deep well. Shallow well will not have any supporting system as such provided in case of deep well, like mortar layer or clay barrier or clay supporting system. So the shallow well is going to enter the primary aquifer system, and because of this there are more chances of uh, accumulation of contaminated water, because this particular primary aquifer system will be near to the ground surface, and because of this whatever the infiltration is going to take place, that is going to lead to contamination. Okay, so these were the few of the things we have discussed. Apart from that, we have discuss with respect to diameter of the well. It varies from 1 meter to 10 meter, depth up to 30 meters. Okay, and I might have also discussed with respect to yield of the well. So usually for the wells for the residential buildings or for the houses will have the yield less than 500 cubic meter per day of yield. Okay, please understand this. Okay. Fine. The notes regarding this one will be shared to you. Don't worry about that. After that, also I will discuss that based on the type of the lining provided, we can classify the open well into three groups. One is called as temporary well or kacha well, that is well without lining. The second one with well with impervious lining. Okay, so the well with impervious lining, when we consider it might be for shallow well, it might be for the deep well as well. The third one I have told is the well with pervious lining. So initially for this one, we didn't had any supporting system here, but whereas here we are providing some pervious structure, that is pervious material in case of this particular the well encountered in this particular sandy layer. In that particular case, we might have to go for providing the gravels or the ballast. And also, since we are going for providing this particular what do you call the gravels, okay, since at the bottom also we are going to have sandy layer, and because of this there might be accumulation of sand and other things. So in most of the cases we are going to provide the base slab made up of the concrete material. We are going to plug it, and we are going to construct the wall in such a way that some perviousness will be there, so which will be made up of this particular brick. So that means alternative brickwork or some kind of other porous materials can be used, or porous concrete might be used, but it should be safe enough to withstand. But anyway, usually we'll be going for the curbs and the construction of the wall by making use of bricks. Usually, will not be filled with cement here. Please understand. So in the previous case, this wall will be constructed with brick as well as stone or RCC. Okay, but here the brick and the stone will be constructed using mortar. That's why I might have used the word, right, brick masonry and stone masonry while giving the explanation. Okay, here we'll be going for usage of the brick and stone. I have not used the word masonry here because we are not using the cement or mortar mixes. Okay, the joints will not be filled by making use of the cement or mortar mixes. Please understand. That means we are either we can go for brick masonry, sorry, we can go for placing of the bricks, or we can go for placing of the stones, not the RCC. Okay, so here we are going to place the bricks one over the other without using any binding material. Please understand, there is a difference between well with impervious lining, well with pervious lining. This was one of the important explanations that I should have given earlier. Anyway, okay, fine. So this is all about the open well or the dug well is concerned. So if the question is asked with the help of neat sketch, explain the open well, okay, or they may also ask in the other way around, with the help of neat sketch, explain the dug well. Both are one and the same. So you need to explain the open well with respect to shallow well and deep well, and also you need to explain the open well with respect to uh, uh, well without lining, well with impervious lining, well with pervious lining. So that means you are going to explain this particular question with 5 sketches. Okay, this is the first sketch, second sketch, and this is a third sketch here, right? Okay, that means 1, 2, 3, right? 4 and 5. Fine. So that means you are going to explain this particular question with 5 sketches. Please remember. Okay. Now moving on to the next one. Okay. So when we talk about water well, So we can majorly classify into two groups. One is open well, other one is called as tube well. Now coming to tube well part. There are three types of tube wells we are going to have. So in one of the problem when we solved, might be from unit number 3, at that time I might have used the word a strainer length of 2 meter, I might have used. Now that particular problem, now you can visualize in this particular chapter. That means here, see, this is one of the classification for the tube well. So we call it as strainer type of tube well. Okay, strainer well. We call it as strainer well. The second is cavity well, and the third one is slotted well. Okay, so here when we talk about tube well, right, there is a difference in the tube well and the open well, because what will be the discharge rate of this particular open well? So open well will have discharge rate usually less than 500 cubic meter per second per day for the houses is concerned. If you go for larger one also, it might have a discharge rate of up to 0.005 cubic meter per second. So it won't be more than that in any case. Okay. So even though the open wells have got larger diameter, they will not have more yield. Okay, you please understand. Okay, the reason for this one is in case of tube well, it is going to have a long pipe that will be sunk below the ground surface. And now if I'm going to talk about either a strainer or if I'm going to talk about cavities, this will allow more quantity of inflow into the well, and because of this now the yield will be more from the tube well is concerned than compared to the open wells. So that means there is a difference. In spite of having lesser diameter, the tube well yield is going to be more than the open well. Please understand, this is one of the important point that needs to be noted from your end, because when we talk about yield, so which well is going to yield more, whether it is tube well or whether it is going to be open well. So tube well is going to yield more than compared to your open well. Please understand. There are three types of tube wells. One is called as strainer tube well. Okay, I'll show you the diagram sketch of this. So this is the first one. The second one is called as cavity tube well. Okay, I'll come one by one. First, I would like to show you the sketch before because if you know the sketches, right? If you can visualize how the strainer tube well will be like, cavity tube well will be like, and the slotted type tube well, in that particular case, you can give better explanation. Now, okay, now in this particular first one, now let us compare all the three sketches before going for the discussion. See here, this is a example for strainer type of tube well. We have got various impervious layers here, 1, 2, okay, and fine. So that means aquifer is sandwich layer, fine. That means this particular strainer type of tube well is going to be used only for the confined aquifer system. Here we are going to have the blind pipe here. That means the pipe without any holes. Okay. Whereas in the confined aquifer system, let us say 2-meter strainer we are using. That means what? The water will be allowed through this particular strainer. Okay. That means what will be done in case of strainer type of tube well, we are going to have the special type of the wire mesh which will be wrapped around the main tube of the well. Okay, this will help in screening out the impurities. Either it might be a sand, it might be a gravel, it might be some other kind of impurities. So the larger size particles will be separated out by this particular wire mesh. We call it as strainer. Okay. So even in case of pumps also we'll be using the strainers. Please understand this. Okay. So these strainers are provided wherever we are going to encounter the aquifer system. So in the other depths we are going to have the blind pipe here. That means closed pipe. We are not going to have the pipe, right, with perforated holes and other things. No, it will be impervious. Whereas in case of the pipe passing through the confined aquifer, we are going to have perforated pipes. Okay. One of the important design criteria that we need to understand is the total surface area of the tube well that we are going to have. It should be greater than the 3 times the area of perforations. So that means if I'm talking about the total surface area from the top, if I'm checking, the diameter of this particular tube well should be 3 times more the diameter than, right? It should be more the diameter than this particular area of the perforations that we have used. Please understand. That means whatever the perforations we have, so this diameter should be 3 times the diameter of the area of the perforation. We need to check one of the perforation area, that means one of the hole that is provided. So that should be 3 times of that we need to consider. Okay. Now the question comes, what should be the opening of the wire screen? Okay, if we are designing, right, tube well, in that particular case, what should be the area of the opening in the wire screen or the mesh or this particular strainer? So it should be equal to the area of the waterway in the perforated pipe. That means the area of the opening of the strainer, the area of the opening of the strainer should be equal to the area of the waterway in the perforated pipe or the slotted, so that there won't be change in the velocity. If there is change in the velocity, what will happen? There will be disturbance to the neighborhood, and because of this, what will happen? So overall, we are going to alter the incoming water particles. Okay, if there is going to be change, that means what will happen? Sand will be deposited in the annular space. Now because of that, will not be now going for increase or decrease in the variations of the strainer area and the perforated area. Both should be equal. Okay, and usually in case of strainer type of tube well, the water enters through the sides, not from the bottom. In case of dug well, you might have seen when we have gone for the impervious lining system, the water used to enter from the bottom. But it will not be the same case in case of tube well, because we are going to have the plugging done. Because from the bottom, what will happen? Some material, right, due to some pressure and other things, it might get into this particular well, and because of that, we don't want to encounter that particular kind of problem. So we'll be going for plugging. Okay, the water enters through the sideways in case of the tube well is concerned, that is strainer type of tube well is concerned. Okay, now one more important thing is that what quality of the pipe needs to be used in case of strainer type of tube well. That is also in one of the important thing that we need to understand. We should not make use of more than one metal. Otherwise, what will happen? There will be salt deposition. That means there is some kind of chemistry involved. Now, in that case, we need to decide which kind of quality of the pipe needs to be now used. Usually, stainless steel is preferred since it is costly. So, we can also go for some of the carbon steel. Okay, we can think of going for the copper alloy. Okay, or we can think of going for the zinc coated brass, something like that. We can go for. Now, strainers are also coming in various types. Now, if I'm talking about some of the strainers, okay, there were strainers developed by a few of the people like Phoenix. Okay, so that means Phoenix strainer, Lane and Bowler strainer, or Ashford strainer I may talk about, or Tej strainer, Cook strainer. These are the various types of strainers that are now available. Based on that, we can use it in case of the strainer type of tube well. Coming to cavity type of tube well, see here, in the strainer type of tube well, the water enters through the sideways, because we are going to provide the perforations where we are going to encounter the aquifer. Till that depth, we are going to have the perforations. Wherever we are going to encounter the impervious layer, we are not providing any perforations or the strainer here. We are just going to have the blind pipe, right? So that means closed pipe we are going to have. Again, in the next step, you can see here we are having some kind of openings provided and strainer provided here, right? So that will not be the case, and also we are going to plug it at the bottom in case of strainer type of tube well. But it is a complete reversal of the strainer type of tube well when we consider cavity tube well. So what are the requirements that we need to have in case of cavity type of tube well? So you can see here, this is an example or a sketch showing the cavity type of tube well. So that means it will be entering what? The confined aquifer, okay, and over which we are going to have the clear layer roofing. That is one of the requirement. That means this particular whatever the cavity type of tube well we are talking about is going to encounter the confined aquifer, and water enters through the bottom of the well, not through the sideways. Please understand this particular important difference between the cavity tube well and the strainer type of tube well. Okay, so in case of deep wells, if you have seen, right, so this particular well used to rest on the mota layer. So again, that is not the case in case of this particular cavity type of tube well. Okay, so whenever the discharge rate is increased, what will happen is there will be cavity type of formation of the critical velocity surface, and that's why it is called as a cavity type of tube well, nothing else. Okay, that is the main difference between the cavity type and the strainer type of tube well. Okay. So when we again talk about the difference between this particular the strainer type tube well and the cavity type of tube well is that in case of strainer, the flow is radial in direction. Whatever the problems we have solved in case of unit number 3, okay, if you go back, we have considered radial flow there. Okay, one of the assumption was that steady radial flow will be there. Okay, fine. That is the water used to enter through the sideways, not through the bottom. Please understand. Okay. In case of this particular cavity type of tube well, the flow will be spherical here. See here how it is. It is spherical. In case of this particular strainer type of tube well, water enters through the sideways, and because of this, we can have drawdown and other things. Okay, those problems we have solved. Here, it will be spherical. So in the latter case, we have the previous case, we have the radial flow. Here it is going to be spherical. Okay, fine. Now, just a second. When we are considering the slotted type of tube well, so here, let us say if I'm going to have two conditions wherein sufficient depth of water bearing stratum is not available, let us say up to 100 meter or so, or some strong roofing system is not adequate, okay, or cavity well is not feasible. For those particular condition, we'll be going for slotted type of tube well here. In case of slotted type of tube well, we are going to provide some slots. Okay, that means we will be providing some gravel shrouding here. Okay, so only for some topsoil condition we are going to go for the impervious pipe. Okay, and we are going to provide one pipeline here so that we can pass the compressed air through it. So compressed air will be blown through this particular inner